initiate the confrontation. The detectives created a ruse, inviting...
So, this is JCS, and they are the interrogation of Stefan Lazarus. So, it is cops interrogating a lady. Should be fun. Let's watch it.
Stephanie to come in and advise them on a case involving stolen art. Knowing they were dealing with one of their own, they rehearsed and prepared for the interview more than anything they had done before. Their plan of attack was to keep the conversation as casual as possible for as long as possible, and carefully waited for the key moments to initiate the confrontation.
So what they just said there was she's a police officer as well, you know. So it's police officers interrogating one of their own. So they studied a lot to make sure that they did this perfectly, knowing that she is also a police officer.
I don't know if you know my partner.
Hey,
great.
Hi.
Stearns, nice to
Yeah,
meet
see
you.
you guys.
How's it going?
Good.
Milling around. Well, have a seat. I don't want to talk about this in the squadron because I don't know who people are listening.
That's true.
And if we go to my side, everybody's always wondering what everybody else is
sure,
doing.
no problem.
Okay.
The first thing the detectives do is set up a compatible tone
We don't
with
know
the
yet.
suspect. She has just stepped foot inside an interrogation room, and the detectives negate the negative implications of such an environment through a friendly disposition. Consultative meetings, such as seeking advice over an art theft, can take place anywhere, and the last place detectives would choose to spend more time in would be an interrogation room. The reason they give the suspect for meeting in such an unusual location is to not spread rumors or innuendo. Yet the real reason is that all firearms have to be checked in before entering the area, and they needed the suspect to give up her gun without alerting suspicion.
But
That's actually really, really smart. So basically they coerced her into giving up her firearm, knowing that she would have to like oblige, but they did it with the underlying notion that, hey, we need to talk to you, we want it to be private, so we're going to do it in an interrogation room, but in an interrogation room you have to give up your firearm. So that's pretty smart. Pretty
talking
smart.
about being busy and stuff, we've been assigned a case that we've been looking at. Okay. It's a new case, and reviewing the case, there's some notes to see as far as your name being mentioned.
Okay.
Do you know John Rutan?
Try and imagine for one moment that you savagely murdered a love rival in a jealous rage. Over 2 decades had passed since the act. Then all of a sudden, you're brought to an interrogation room and sat directly opposite 2 senior investigators who bring up the name of the man you committed first-degree homicide for.
So she murdered somebody. She did a murder. Straight up.
John Rutten?
Rutan.
The investigators already knew how to say John Rutten's name correctly. The mispronunciation was a simple strategy to see how the suspect would react. Setting aside the element of the murder, John Rutten was the second longest relationship in Stephanie's...
Look at that homie's unibrow, dude. That's a sick-ass unibrow. We like that here.
life, and a psychiatrist later stated that this pause was 4 times as long as it should have been. She was already being deceptive by acting as if she hadn't thought about that name for so long, giving reason for her prolonged reflection, when in reality, the name John Rutten was engraved in her memory, and even when slightly mispronounced, it would have most likely taken milliseconds for her to realize exactly who the detectives were referring to.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I went to school with him.
You did?
Yeah.
How long did you know him?
Gosh, I went to school in, let's see, went to UCLA in 1978 I started, and, met him at school at the dorms.
Mm-hmm.
She says she met him in the dorms, yet left out the fact that they had dated for 4 years and went on numerous holidays together. Even though she wasn't asked directly, a truthful subject would most often volunteer this information without having to be pressed for it.
Kinda sussy. You're like, you know this person? I don't... man, I'm not really recalling that. Like, I'm pretty sure you do. Pretty sure you do.
Were you guys friends, close friends?
Yeah, we're very close friends.
Yeah?
I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's regarding, it's a case we're working on, and it involves John, and in there, some of the statements we reviewed, there's notes and stuff that he knew you and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we good friends, lived in the dorms I lived in the dorms for 2 years.
You guys lived in the same dorm?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dykstra.
Okay. Were you guys just friends or anything else, or?
Yeah, we were good friends.
Yeah. Was there ever any relationship or anything that developed between you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we dated,
Uh-huh.
I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's relating.
What the fuck is this camera angle? Like, could they not place a camera in a better fucking spot? Like, what are we? Is this like her shoulder? What the fuck is this?
To his wife.
It's unfortunate that Stephanie's face wasn't captured at this moment because
Thank you. I'm happy that homie agrees with me.
she would have no doubt been immediately struck by the psychological reaction known as fight or flight. Her brain would have just triggered the influx of a specific cocktail of hormones in order to prepare her to either stay and deal with the threat or try and run away to safety. Stephanie chooses to fight.
Okay.
Okay. Did you know her?
Not really. I mean, I knew that he got married years ago.
Did you ever meet her?
God, I don't know.
Do you know who she was or anything?
Well, let me think. God, it's been a long time.
Hey, there we go.
Um,
Oh, it's definitely already an interrogation. And with her being a police officer, you think she would know that. Like, coming into a interrogation room, being sat down with two officers, and then being probed questions, you think as a police officer, she would automatically be like, I want a lawyer. You know, how are you a cop and not instantly being like, okay, I want a lawyer? Because I don't know if you guys know this, but your anything you say or do will be used against you in the court of law. It doesn't say will be used for you. So talking to police officers in general is always bad. Like, you should not talk to police officers. Even if you, like, mean well, even if you have good intentions of, like, helping the police, you should not talk to the police, because I guarantee you that if you say anything to the police, they will try to string your words in a way to make you look like a criminal. You know, they're not gonna like, they don't call police officers on stand to like justify your actions. They call police on stands to be like, yeah, they did the murder. Like, they're murderers. They're doing the murder.
I may have met her. Jeez.
The words gosh, God, gee are exclamatory remarks used to express surprise or strong emotion. You will see them used continuously throughout this interrogation, which is the suspect trying to insinuate a vague memory due to a lack of contemplation on the subject matter. She's trying to emit the impression that she would have had no reason to give any further thought to John or anything related to John, since they stopped seeing each other over 2 decades ago.
You know.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you. You said you dated John.
You could say that she wouldn't have known, but I feel like with her being on the police force for this long, it should, like, be one of those instantaneous clicks, like, I'm being interrogated.
How long did you guys date?
Like, this is an interrogation.
I mean, are you guys, is this something?
As we know, Stephanie is a cop and has been for 25 years. She will be wise to the fact that acting oblivious to the unusual development of the situation will be a glaring red flag in the eyes of the investigators. It's been shown time and again on this channel. Guilty suspects will often try and act naive to a blatant confrontation as a means to avoiding it altogether, whereas truthful subjects will address the confrontation and either refute it, or if it's subtle, want immediate clarification and transparency as to what was being insinuated.
I mean, you said I was going to interview somebody about art and how
Well,
you guys are.
Here's
I mean,
Stephanie. Here's the situation. It's basically, we knew that this, when we saw this in this chrono, that maybe there was some relationship.
Oh, she's
there. That's what the
fucking
chrono
panicking.
indicates.
The detective now subtly avoids the question altogether, but instead offers a deceptively reassuring response to the suspect. He makes a very sharp switch from the investigative subject matter to the previous topic of workplace rumors. He brings her focus back to the false perception of them being on her side. Stephanie had just asked what was going on, and now he essentially replies with, "We are your friends. We're doing you a favor."
And we didn't want to come up to you at your desk and ask those kinds of questions or do anything. You know how up there people can see what's going on if you go into an interview room or people are in there getting
that's
supplies.
okay. I mean,
So we wanted to afford you some privacy, some confidentiality
Okay.
to talk about this, because we thought it might be, something, you're married to someone else, obviously, and so forth, and, that you may not want to, talk about these things in that setting where someone, we don't want the rumor mill or gossip or any of that kind of stuff
I
to
mean,
start.
that's fine. I mean,
So we did this just as a means to try and speak to you in just
Okay,
a
I mean, I
confidential
just-
place where where your business isn't out there for other people in
well, I mean,
your
it's-
division to
yeah,
know
I
about.
mean,
Whether it be shock or the total reluctance to accept the situation at hand, Stephanie warily accepts the reassuring response without further inquiry into her initial challenge. She instead falls back into her agenda of having a foggy memory with regard to the incriminating contents.
Right.
God, that's been a million years ago. I mean,
I hope you don't mind that we bring you in for some privacy as we, as he pulls out the camera, he's like, yeah, we're just going to have a private conversation. Continue talking. Yeah, it's just, we're just being cordial. It's not a big deal. Hold on, can you say that louder? Yeah, okay, thank you.
What year is it now? 2009? I mean, I graduated in 82. 82, yeah. We dated. I dated other guys. I'm sure he dated other girls.
Well, let me ask you, roughly how long would you say you guys dated?
Oh, jeez.
Look
I
at
couldn't
those
say.
facial
I
expressions.
mean,
It's like,
Notice how she
Looks
now
like-
goes on to over-explain things that don't require an explanation and weren't even inquired about. It's a clear-cut indication of hyperarousal and a derivative of TMT, also known as terror management theory. The
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
will go off on unrelated tangents as means for gaining momentary relief. Going into detail about trivial things affords her a brief escape from the terrifying reality eventuating before her. This is a very common occurrence in interrogations where the suspect is facing serious charges, and psychiatrists believe it to be a subconscious coping mechanism.
I started school there in 78.
Mhm.
I started UCLA in 1978.
Mhm.
I graduated in 82. I don't even remember what year he graduated, if it was a year or two before me.
Okay.
I think he was a little bit older than I was.
Mhm.
I mean, I can't remember if he was born, let's see, I was born in 1960.
The question
I don't know
is,
if he was
how
born in
long
58 or
did
59.
you
I mean,
date John
I
for?
mean, I knew his parents, I knew his sister, his brother went to
So,
North.
I don't know. I don't think I dated his
Um,
mom. Didn't date his sister. Who are we
sister
talking about?
Spent the night at my house before. Obviously, I spent the night at his house before. He probably spent the night at my house before. I don't.
Look at those.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh my God.
You guys dated while you were in college together, right?
Yeah, and probably after college. I can't. Jeez, trying to think when I met my
Who's
husband.
John?
My husband in. When did I meet Scott? Let's see. I was teaching DARE because I met Scott when I was teaching DARE up in Oregon, but we had long stopped, dating before that.
So you haven't talked to him for a long time?
Oh, I think I haven't talked to him in a long time. I couldn't even tell you when the last time I talked
Her
to him.
facial expressions are telling a whole
Scott,
nother
I think, in
story right now.
92 maybe, April of 92. It was,
Scott being your husband.
yeah, I'm trying to think. I
And
was
you would
teaching
think,
DARE.
like I said, with her being a police officer, she would
We'll be married.
okay,
I got married in
I'm obviously
1996.
being
I think
fucking
I met
recorded
Scott
right now.
92.
Probably
Prior to
shouldn't
that,
say
I couldn't
anything.
tell you how long I had talked to John prior to that.
But since you met your husband, Scott, you haven't talked to him?
I mean, he may have called me once or twice before we got married.
Right.
Geez, I moved to Simi in 1994 because I lost my house in the earthquake.
Oh, really?
Quite honestly, I probably keep in contact with a few people from the dorms. We all lived on the 10th floor, and there's.
Remember, guys, the
About
question
3
is, how long did you date John for? That was the question.
4 people I keep in contact with. There's probably like 6 or 8 of us that were all really close.
And who are those
um,
people?
Oh, geez, Diana Basta. The people I still keep.
She
I
still hasn't
haven't
answered the
been in
question.
contact with her in a long time.
Right.
I mean, you know, what's I mean, what's it all
Too
about?
long,
I
right?
mean,
Oh, jeez.
The suspect challenges the detectives for the second time, and once again the question is avoided, but this time in a more confrontational manner, as the topic is maintained with no reassurance afforded. The detectives are ramping up the pressure in a very subtle yet highly effective manner.
What ended the relationship between you and John?
you know, I don't. It was kind of a weird relationship.
I don't
mean,
know.
We
I don't know.
dated. I can't say that he was my boyfriend. I don't know that he would consider me his girlfriend. We dated. We did things. I played sports in college. He played basketball.
Wait.
His brother played basketball.
Did she just say, like, I don't even think we dated, but yeah, we dated. In the same, like, I don't even think we dated, but yeah, we dated. Like, you're lying. You're a liar.
We just, it just didn't work out. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It was like I went out with other guys, saw other guys. I went on lots of vacations.
And once you guys split, were you guys still friends, or kind of,
I
problems?
mean,
Is it friendly, not friendly?
no, I don't think it was not friendly. I mean, we were friendly. I know that.
Dude, she just did it again. Did you hear it?
I mean,
Problems? Is it
Listen.
friendly, not friendly?
no, I don't think it was not friendly. I mean, we were friendly. I know that.
Oh, my bad. I misheard. She said, I don't think we were not friendly. We were friendly. Okay. Wait. Does that make sense? I don't think we were not friendly. We were friendly. No, I guess that's right. Yeah, that's cohesive. Very bad. It's kind of illiterate, but I think it's cohesive.
We went to Hawaii at one point. Yeah, I mean,
And you were
It's-
saying that
it's 2009 now.
had you ever met his wife?
I may have.
Do you remember her name or anything, or?
Oh, I may have murdered her. Maybe. No, I'm not
Or
sure.
what she did for a living, or where she
I
worked,
might have
or
did that
anything
murder.
about her?
The suspect was just asked 3 consecutive questions relating to the victim. She was supposedly in a reflective state during all 3 of the questions, yet her facial expression completely changed for the 3rd one. This is because she was pretending to be in a state of reflection for the first 2 questions, as she already knew the answers, whereas for the 3rd question, she actually was in a state of reflection and was genuinely searching her memory for the correct response.
Had you ever met his wife?
I may have.
Do you remember her name or anything, or?
The 3rd question is about to
Wow.
be posed, and her focus is about to switch from pretending to be thinking to actually thinking.
Or what she did for a living, or where she worked, or anything about her?
Wow, that's
I'm
fucking
I think she was a nurse.
crazy.
Man, I can't even remember how he said he met her. I mean, it's been so long ago.
It's
Well, then
crazy
did you
that
go
you
to the
can see the
wedding,
shift in her face.
No, I didn't go to their wedding. No, did not go to their wedding. Couldn't even tell you what year he got married. I mean, it's been a million years ago. Again, I mean, what, I don't understand why you're talking about some guy I dated a million years ago.
Well, do you know what happened to his wife?
Yeah, I know she got killed.
You wouldn't need to
Yeah, I know she got murdered. Wasn't me, though. I don't know what her name was, and I'm not actually sure if she was, like, even married to my ex-boyfriend or not, but, I remember the murder. For sure.
be an expert in body language to recognize the unmitigated terror emanating from the suspect's face at this moment. She had just verbalized the victim's tragic demise for the first time in most likely over 2 decades.
What did you hear about that?
I saw a poster at work. I'm sure I spoke to him about it. I think I spoke to another friend of his about it.
And how did you first learn about that?
Jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Someone could have called me. I could have heard it at work.
Oh, jeez.
I think at one point there
You
may
was
have been
spot
a
on,
fire or
Joker.
something. I know a good friend of his.
Were you on the job back then when that happened?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm sure I was on the job. That's why I would have heard about it with the flyer. he had a good friend, Mike Boldrick, Mike. Mm, um, you know.
But being that you're kind of used to
Right.
John, was it everything okay between you guys? I mean, there was never anything uncomfortable or anything between you and her?
8 separate witnesses testified that Stephanie had confronted Sherry at the hospital she worked at, while the two of them were reportedly in an intimate relationship with John. The confrontation was said to have been highly aggressive, and Stephanie had to be escorted off the premises by security. Reports stated that Stephanie was by far the more combative and even made threats against Sherry's life.
John was a little gangster back in the day.
Uncomfortable. I mean, I can't even. Remember if we had a conversation. I mean, we may have. I may have seen her at his apartment.
I may have murdered her. I may have seen her here. I may have seen her there. I may have murdered her. We don't know.
Geez,
I can't remember.
How many years ago was that? I don't even know what year she.
How many years ago did I murder her? I don't know.
Notice her passive disposition as she gives the following truthful response.
On Roscoe.
Okay.
Yeah, Roscoe and east or west of DeSoto. Either east or west of DeSoto.
Do you know where he moved after? Did he move after he got married, or do you know? Or
now notice how her disposition switches from passive to frantic as she once again pretends to have a vague memory.
I'm sure he did.
Did you know where he was?
That's like the face of somebody that's trying so hard to think, but you know the answer. It's like you already know the answer, but you don't want to seem as if you know the answer. So you're like, look at that chin. She's like, no, monsieur, I don't know. I don't know the answer to your question.
Somewhere in the valley?
Did you ever visit him and his wife?
No.
No, never
No.
went out to, together,
Exactly.
dinners, anything of that nature?
No. Like I said, his sister used to come over. His sister had come to my place. I knew his brother because his brother played basketball at Northridge. In fact, I was just coming across some pictures that I just scanned from. I take a lot of photos, like 10,000, and I just did a service where I scanned everything.
And after his wife died, did you talk to him again or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I did talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him, probably his parents, probably some other friends.
She said earlier that she didn't talk to him after the murder, but now she's saying, yeah.
After he got married.
No idea. I mean,
never went over to visit him or.
I don't think.
meet
I
his
mean,
wife
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't.
What is this face? What?
To him.
Yeah.
But you're not sure where he moved.
Hold on, I don't think I would.
To him.
Did you talk to him again or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I did talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him, probably his parents, probably some other friends. I'm sure I talked to him.
Yeah.
But you're not sure where he moved to after he got married.
No
That is
idea.
crazy.
Never went over to visit him or.
I don't think.
meet
I
his
mean, I
wife
don't
or-
think so. I mean,
I don't think I did the murder.
I don't know. I don't think I did.
I don't think I did the murder. I might
I
have.
know he lived on Roscoe for a long, long time.
She's literally saying, like, I didn't know. I knew she was murdered, but I didn't talk to him afterwards. Well, actually, I did talk to him afterwards, and I know the street he lived on. So, it's like, yeah, I didn't talk to him, but I did talk to him. But actually, I know exactly what street the man fucking lived on. That is crazy. I don't even remember the street I grew up on, let alone somebody that I murdered 30 years ago.
And you're right.
I mean, if you guys are claiming that I'm a suspect, then, I got a problem with that.
Okay.
Okay? So, you know, if you're doing this as an interrogation,
It's
you're saying,
taken
"Hey,
her an
I'm
hour
suspect." Well, now I got a problem with
to
you know,
realize
now
that.
you're accusing me of this. Is that what you're saying?
We're trying to figure out what happened, Stephanie.
Well, I'm just saying. You know, do I need to get a lawyer if you're accusing me of
I mean,
this? You know,
You don't have to. I mean, you know,
I'm
you're
just-
here of your own free will. I mean,
no.
you
Oh,
don't,
I know, but
I mean, you know you're not under arrest. You can walk out
you
whenever
can leave
feel
whenever
like.
you like.
well,
But-
you know, I'm trying to give you some background.
Right.
You know how I knew him, and now you're telling me that somebody's saying that we had this big old fight, and I don't even know what you're talking about. You know, and I don't want to, you know, get in trouble for something that I didn't even do, or you're saying I did something.
Okay,
Yeah, we understand.
I mean, how would you guys like it if the tables were turned on you?
I understand. No,
No, that's what we're telling you. I mean, you're free to go whenever you want. If this makes you uncomfortable and you want to,
Well, now you're starting to
leave.
make me uncomfortable.
the thing is, I mean, detectives did what they could at that time on the crime scene. Okay, and the burglary thing you're talking about, that is an angle that they looked at. But now we're looking at everything else on the case. Because nobody was ever arrested on the case.
I don't know that or not.
Okay. Now, what we'd like to do is, obviously you know about all the DNA stuff and things of the nature that, you know, gets done on cases nowadays. You know, if we asked you for a DNA swab, would you be willing to give us one?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Now-
Maybe not.
Because
Now I'm thinking I probably need to talk to a lawyer.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
because I know how this stuff works, okay? Don't get me wrong, you're right, I have been doing this a long time.
She knows how this stuff works, but yet she has been sitting in an interrogation room for an hour and has yet to request a lawyer. But she knows how this stuff works. She's not a very good murderer.
yeah.
And I wish I had been recording this because now it sounds like, you know, there's, you know, you're telling these people saying I'm fighting with her, and now it sounds like you're trying to, you know, I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
We know.
Okay? And now it almost sounds like you're trying to pin something on me.
No,
Now
but-
I got that sense.
Well, what it gets to on these cases, and you know it as well as I do, our job is to identify and eliminate
I
suspects.
can't believe this.
So if we ask you to the point to give us a DNA sample, a buccal swab, so we can identify or eliminate you, would you be willing to do that?
Maybe. Because I know this.
Well, that's where we're at too. I mean, because right now, from looking at the evidence, it's, you know, it's possible we may have some DNA at the location.
That's great.
And
That's
we're
great.
gonna do what we can to try to put this thing together.
You're right.
And
Oh, shoot. I wish I was recording that.
for whatever reason,
You'd see how innocent I was if I was
Crazy. I mean,
recording that.
That's absolutely crazy.
and it would be irresponsible on our part not to look at it.
I know. You guys have to do your job, and I guess I'm gonna have to contact somebody.
You
So,
better.
That's fair.
I mean, because I know how this stuff works. I
Sure.
mean,
She keeps saying that, but it doesn't
I-
appear that she
I can't
does.
believe it.
That's.
I
I mean, we understand that. I mean, if we were in your position, I mean, we would feel the same way.
I just can't even believe it. I mean, it's just. I mean, I'm shocked. I'm really shocked that somebody would be saying that I did this. I mean, we had a fight, so I went and killed her. I mean, come on.
Well-
That's.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks
Oh.
for giving me the courtesy. I wish I could record it.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Stephanie, take care.
All right.
Okay. Wait. They're just gonna let her fucking. They're just gonna let her walk out? They're just letting her fucking walk out right now? Right, exact. Well, technically, no, Joker. That's what I was saying earlier. There's another really good. We'll watch that video next. Not tonight, though. The next video we watch, we'll watch that. But technically, no. Because you do not want to help the police, period. If the police ask you for a DNA swab, you say no. Because guess what? They're not going to use that swab to prove your innocence. They're using that swab of DNA to prove that you're fucking guilty. So, yeah, if they want a DNA swab, you say, I need a lawyer. Because you shouldn't talk to the police ever for any reason. Even if you think that you're helping, don't fucking talk to the police. Like, because all they're going to do is they're going to try to twist your words and spin your fucking alibi to try to pin something on you. So do not talk to... They want DNA? No. Get a fucking court order. If you want my DNA, go through the courts and get a court order for my DNA. It's like, I'm not giving you my fucking DNA, period. And it's not because I'm guilty. It's because I don't want you having my fucking DNA. And if you can prove to the courts that my DNA is required, then I'll give you my DNA. But until that point, it's like, no, I'm not fucking talking to you, period. Yeah, I'm talking about in situations like this, of course.
Have a seat, Stephanie.
Insane.
Okay.
Wait, they told her that she could leave and they brought her back?
You know you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes.
Anything you say may be used against you in court. Do you understand?
Yes.
They arrested her! They arrested her!
You have the right to the presence of an attorney before and during any questioning. Do you understand? If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you free of charge before any questioning if you want. Do you understand? If you want to talk to us right now.
No.
All right.
Okay.
This
then.
is crazy. This is I'm like in shock. I'm totally in shock.
No, they got the cuffs on her! They've already cuffed her!
I'm like in
Look,
shock.
look, look,
I'm
look.
totally in shock.
Oh, they got her cuffed! We know you did the murder?
We are back on the record in People versus Lazarus. Shortly before noon, the jury announced they have a verdict. We will take the verdict at this time.
People of the State of California versus Stephanie Eileen Lazarus. Case number BA 357423. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Stephanie Eileen Lazarus, guilty of the crime of murder of Sherry Rasmussen in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony, as charged in count 1 of the information. We further find the murder was of the first degree.
Your Honor, I'm John Rutten. Thank you for the opportunity to speak during this hearing. There are really no words that can describe the loss of Sherry and the whole of this experience, so it makes no sense to talk very long. It suffices to say that there...
This is John! This is the guy! This is the fucking guy that they were feuding over. This was, because the girls... Yeah, this is the fucking guy that they were feuding over.
Rasmussen family, my family, and Stephanie's family have been thrust into a bizarre world of disbelief and indescribable sadness. Sherry Rasmussen had a profound impact on so many people. I was proud that she agreed to be my wife. It was impossible not to notice Sherry when she entered a room. To me, her physical presence was startling. I can clearly remember the first moment I laid eyes on her. Sherry Rasmussen was a physical presence, and my heart still races when I look at pictures of her. But Sherry was extraordinary, more for who she was than the way she looked. She was a hard worker, a consummate professional, a leader, a diplomat, forgiving, tough, and a kid at heart. Sherry's loss, the way she died, and the trial 25 years after her death has had a profound impact on many, many others. The effects are broad and span a generation, creating pain for those whose lives should have never been touched by this tragic event. Again, words are feeble tools for describing these impacts, but there are so many moments and so very many tears. And the fact that Sherry's death occurred because she met and married me brings me to my knees.
Damn.
Stephanie Lazarus was sentenced to 27 years to life for the murder of Sherry Rasmussen. She is currently being held inside the maximum security unit of the Central California Women's Facility.
There you go.
Does it stand out in your mind?
What?
Any other cars that stand out in your mind?
No way! That's fucking crazy! gotta watch it again. What?
Any other cars that stand out in your mind?
Fuck this.
Bro, that is why is that like why does that like bring me chills? Like, is that not fucking like disturbing to watch that? That is fucking disturbing.
Any other cars that stand out in your mind?
Like that alone. Like what? What is... Bro, the human mind is so fucking psychotic. What about our brains forces us to make an expression like that? No, it's funny. I mean, she fucking murdered somebody, so yeah, it's definitely disturbing. But I would say it's funny too. But all right, I think that's it. I think I'm gonna call it here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thanks YouTube for watching. If you liked the video, like, subscribe, and share it. Thank you so much. Did you like that? Is it good? Do I need to run it back?